Good morning, good afternoon. We are going to be starting to learn to convert between the four different types of linear equations. This will be very helpful when we get to linear systems of equations. So first we're going to go through our four different types that we've learned so far. So we direct variation, it's y equals mx, where m is the slope. You need the slope, and then 0, 0 is that pair that, or the ordered pair that the line goes through. So we just need the slope. We have slope-intercept form, which is that y equals mx plus b. You need the slope, and then you need the y-intercept. So you need the slope on 0, comma, a number. And that number would be replaced here with b. We have standard form, ax plus by equals c. And then we have point slope form that we just went over. Y minus the y point coordinate equals the slope, or m times the quantity x minus x, the x coordinate. So you need the slope and a point. We just went through this. I would make sure to really start to memorize these. These are the four different types. So converting, we're going to be determining which equation form is easiest to write in an equation in. Convert between direct variation, slope-intercept form, standard form, and point-slope form of linear equations. So converting between all four. Okay, so what equation form to start with? So when you are from slope and a point, you could write the equation into point-slope form. From slope and the y-intercept, I would go to substitute the slope, m, and y-intercept, b, into our slope-intercept form. If you have direct variation, that would be if I have a point 0, 0 and the slope, then you can just put it in y equals mx. If you're looking at a graph, you could find the y-intercept, nb, and the slope, y-intercept, b, and the slope m from the graph, and then substitute the slope and the y-intercept in for y equals mx plus b. Remember that m, or the slope, is your rise over your run. Alright, from 2 points, there we could put it into any one, but you could use the coordinates of the points to find the slope, substitute the slope and the coordinates of one of the points into your point slope form. You could do, again, if you're given one of the points is given that it's the y-intercept, if it's in this form 0, comma, a number, you could go in and use that y-intercept form, slope-intercept form. Okay, from a table, you're going to use the coordinates of the 2 points to find the slope, then substitute the slope and the coordinates of one of the points into your point slope form. Point slope form is going to be one of the easier ones to substitute into if you're given 2 points, because you don't need to know the exact point of the y-intercept, you just need to know 2 points. Okay, so if it passes through a point and has a slope of negative 1/2, here's where, we are going to just substitute it into our our point slope form. Okay, so I would do y minus my y point. Remember, this is x and this is y. So y minus 2 equals my slope of negative 1/2, and then x, and it's minus a negative because I have negative 1, so I'm just going to change it to plus 1. So I can substitute, if I have a point and the slope, right into this equation. Okay, if it passes through this point and has a slope, you could write it in here, but because it's given 0, comma, a number, this is the y-intercept. So we're going to substitute it in right away into our slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b, slope would be 4, or m, x plus or minus, whatever this is. If that was a minus, that would be a or if that was a negative, this would be a minus. It's a positive, so it's plus. Okay, passing through this point with a slope of negative 1/2, it passes through the origin, so I know it's direct variation. So it's just going to be y equals the slope, negative 1/2 x, and done. Okay, if I have a table, I'm going to first find the slope from the table. Remember, the slope is the change of the y, so 13 to 22, I'm adding 9. 22 to 31, I'm adding 9. 31 to 40, I'm adding 9. Here I'm going up only by 1. Okay, so 9 over 1 is my slope. And then I have 4 points here. 1, 13, 2, 22, 3, 31, 4, 40. I have 4 points that I could choose from. I would do y minus one of the y points. So I'm going to choose this point right here, my y, 1, 13. Remember, my x is my 1, it goes first. Y is my is 13. So y minus, not equals, y minus that 13 equals the slope, which I found was 9, because 9 over 1 reduces down to 9, and then x minus the x coordinate. So this would be in point slope form. If I was given here 0 something, if I was given 0 comma a number, I would know that that would be my y-intercept, and I could use that. Since I'm not given the y-intercept, I would use point slope form. Okay, here I'm given that this line goes through the origin. So I know that I can just find the slope. And when you are working with, and only with, direct variation of y equals mx, you're going to do your y divided by your x to figure out what m is. So that would be, this is your x and this is your y. It would be 2 over negative 1. So my equation would be y equals negative 2, because 2 divided by negative 1 is a negative 2. So negative 2x. So anything that you multiply by your x, or every time you would multiply your x by negative 2. So negative 1 times negative 2 equals 2, and that would be correct. All right, here I see that I have 0 comma a number, so this is my y-intercept. So I know that I can use my y-intercept form, or slope-intercept form, sorry, of y equals mx plus b, where b is this number right here. So I'm going to go right ahead and put minus 3 in there. I need to still replace my m with a number. Well, I need to find out my number with my 2 points, so I'm going to subtract my y's on top and my x's on the bottom. Remember, it's the change of the y over the change of the x. So I'm going to go up to my 2 points. So y would be, my first y would be negative 2 minus, and then there's that negative 3. And on the bottom, 4 minus 0.
Good morning, Miss Grant.
So negative 2 minus the negative is plus. So negative 2 plus 3 get me 1. And 4 minus 0 is just 4. So I'm going to replace my m with 1/4. Okay, over here I would use point slope form. I'm sorry, no. Yeah, point slope form. So I still need I need 1 point and the slope. Oh, I ran out of room on my board. Oh, it's kind of hard doing it. Let's see. Well, there we go. All right. So here I can put in either one of my 2 points, but I still need my m, so I'm going to do again y minus y, x minus x. Let's see. So I would do 2 minus a negative 10. So these are my y's. Y, x, I'm running out of room, x, and x. So negative 1 minus 5 gets me. Remember here, this is plus, so we have 12 over here. I like to do it like this, so this is an equal of negative 6. This is my equal sign. So this becomes 12 divided by negative 6 is a negative 2. So negative 2 is my slope, and I can choose either one. X, I'm going to do the first point becomes x plus 1, and then y minus 2. Okay, here I see that I'm going through the origin, so I'm just going to find the slope from one point to the next. I go up 1, 2, 3, that's my top number. I go to the right, 1, that's my bottom number. I can just reduce this down to 3. Okay, slope intercept, it's not going through the origin, but it is going, you can see that it crosses right here at 3. So that's going to go right here. And then I'm going to use my 2 points to find the slope again. 1, 2 on top, and over 1, 2, 3 on bottom. So 2/3 x plus 3. Okay, on here, this graph, you do not see where the y-intercept is. So you need to use point-slope form. You can find 2 points, and there again, you're going to do use one of the points. So over 1, up 5. This point right here is the point we're going to use here. So y minus the 5, x minus the x. And then I need to find my slope. If I go down 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1, and that's where I get negative 3 for my slope. I just have to change one thing on here. It's going to be assignment is page 225, numbers 3, 5, 9, 11, 17, and 19. Choosing which one would be the best for write an equation and for each one of those.